You know when someone tells you they were born in 2003 and you're like, hold up, am I staring at a 5-year-old with the soul of a 45-year-old? I won't be using that line when they ask about my age though, because I'm a proud 1997 baby, which means I'm like barely a millennial, so I guess that makes me the semi-professional at explaining why my generation is constantly making fun of us. We're the ones who still say doggo, use adulting as a verb, and get hyped about getting married to someone we actually like. And hey, before Gen Z comes at us with the skinny jeans jokes, I'll just remind them, we inherited overpriced homes, 3 financial crashes, and a lifetime of debt from the boomers. So your roast is pretty much irrelevant at this point, but let's start with the basics. Gen Z is officially defined as anyone born between 1997 and 2012, and millennials from 1981 to 1996. But here's the issue. Sometimes it's like trying to tell the difference between a TikTok influencer and a millennial in a hoodie. For one, Gen Z has perfected Botox while millennials are trying their best to hold on to their youth with varying results. You can see it in their faces, trust me. So what's the main difference, you ask? It's easy. You've got to watch how we behave. Millennials are holding onto their youth so tightly, it's almost sad. But we stand out from Gen Z in 3 key ways. Ankle socks, hairlines, and the way we throw our hands up when a DJ says, put your hands up. Gen Z does it like they're preparing to fall to the floor, while we do it with the grace of someone holding a latte in one hand and a job interview on the phone in the other. Now, don't get me wrong. I squeaked in as a millennial by 1 measly year, and there are some things I can't even deal with anymore, like answering the phone when it rings. Gen X texts like their phones are from the 90s, sending messages like, yo, drinks at 5, which is honestly kind of badass. Millennials? We've evolved to thumb typing with 2 hands, sending entire novels in text form just to avoid actually having a real conversation. Meanwhile, Gen Z, they're sending 3 separate texts for a single thought, topped off with a skull emoji because they've died from typing. If you're a millennial who's rolling your eyes at Gen Z sending 18 messages to say one thing, well, first of all, get your phone off silent mode. Second, you know what's worse? We literally can't read our own messages half the time, but hey, the 3-message method is the superior form of texting anyway, especially for anything except work. Have you ever tried to punctuate a rap battle with one long sentence? Doesn't work. Gen Z gets it, and we're just mad we didn't think of it first. And when it comes to fun, millennials and Gen X are basically interchangeable alcoholics. But Gen X had their booze with a side of cocaine, which is just so rock and roll. Millennials? We've got anxiety, and weed is our best friend to survive any social situation. Meanwhile, Gen Z, they're too busy doing whatever they're doing with dopamine hits from TikTok to actually leave their houses. At least they don't have to go out to get wasted. But hey, let's talk slang. Us millennials invented some of the worst phrases imaginable. Doggo, adulting, lit, fam. Honestly, we butchered the language just as bad as we butchered our own fashion choices. I mean, seriously, our wardrobe was basically a thrift store mix of everything our parents hated. But now, Gen Z has taken over the slang game. Don't believe me? Here's some of their top-tier gems. Let him cook. He's doing something well, probably not cooking though. She ate. No, she didn't literally eat, but she nailed whatever she did. Riz, charisma, specifically in flirting. Crash out, major mental breakdown, no cap. For real, and their fashion? Don't even get me started. I'll admit, we millennials looked like we threw on whatever was left in the laundry basket and hoped for the best. Gen Z, on the other hand, is out here slaying in outfits that make us look like we still shop at Old Navy. Speaking of fashion, millennials, back in the day, we didn't have Instagram. We didn't care about followers. We didn't even know how to look cool on a selfie. We dressed to reflect our deep, existential fears, like our parents' constant disappointment in us. You might think we were dressing ugly, but trust me, it was pure, unfiltered expression of anxiety. That was peak millennial fashion. Gen Z, though, they've got it made. They've got influencers strutting down the street like, yo, you're fire, while millennials were just trying to get through high school without having to pay for therapy. And speaking of trends, you know what's wild? Gen Alpha is already thinking that digital cameras with low resolution are vintage, which means low-rise jeans and bedazzled everything are officially back. Yes, we're living in a cycle. Soon enough, we'll all be wearing American Apparel hoodies again and it's gonna be glorious. But at the end of the day, here's the kicker. Millennials think we had the best childhood, but the worst adulthood? Gen Z, they think life's actually good, and they're not wrong. They're chilling. They don't know what it's like to get smacked with a VHS tape for not rewinding it before returning it to Blockbuster. But millennials? We remember how bad the world was before social media, when we used to be mad about everything. But at least we didn't have to post our every mood on Instagram. Oh, and Gen Z, let's not forget, when you say, make America great again, we're sitting there thinking, when was it ever actually great? Meanwhile, baby boomers are like, I bought a house in Detroit for $25,000 when I was 23. Well, guess what? Millennials remember Rock Band, Pokemon, and how we used to pretend to drink beer with our iPods. Anyway, I'm gonna sit here and watch the Winamp visualizer because that's the only thing that still makes sense in this chaotic world. While you guys debate who's right, I'll just leave you with one last thought. Remember when we used to burn CDs? Yeah, I miss that. Oh, and while you're reminiscing, you should check out Incon because guess what? Everything you've done online is stored forever. Scary, right? So let them remove all your data from those shady websites for you. Go on, save your digital soul.